provide and get these cheaper rights, no matter whatever, there's well-being. But we see that in the status quo, if this is such a problem.
It's better for our economy. Why is that? Because we move these people who are in the weaker industry to go to a stronger industry. Think about how are you going to sacrifice the farmers?
YTN과 한국외국어대학교가 주최한 고등학생 영어토론대회. 이번 대회에는 전국 고등학생 58개 팀 174명이 참가했습니다. 3명이 한 팀을 이뤄 의회식 토론을 벌이는 경기인데요. 결승까지는 모두 9번 승부를 펼쳐야 합니다.
Okay, we're going to announce the
4강이 끝나고 결승 진출팀이 가려지는 순간.
Between Sprites and the quorum, going through unanimously, Sprite. Winter is coming and Tom to pop up on a 4-1 split decision. Winter is coming.
결승전은 대원외고 학생들로 이뤄진 윈터 이즈 커밍과 용인 외대부고 학생들로 이뤄진 스프라이트가 맞붙게 됐습니다. 주제는 동성애 유전자를 밝혀내는 연구를 모두 중단해야 한답니다. 어른도 대답하기 힘든 까다로운 주제인데요. 우리 학생들 어떻게 풀어갈까요?
자, 소감.
아니 저희 지금 이거 좀 하고 말씀드리면 안
이게
될까요?
전략 어떻게 이길 거야? 전략.
결승을 준비를 시작해야겠어요.
처음 하는 거라서 되게 기분 좋고요. 열심히 해서 꼭 우승하고 싶어요.
결승전까지 남은 시간은 겨우 30분. 두 팀 어떻게 준비하는지 한번 살펴볼까요?
Top of both cases very good. We have both.
감사합니다. 아 진짜 나 오빠 덕분이에요.
30분이 순식간에 지나갔습니다.
어떻게 할래요? 전략. 시간 부족한데.
신속하게 안 떨고 기 안 죽고 학원대로.
Welcome to the grand finals of the 6th YTN Hoops YTN Youth English Debating Championship.
드디어 결승전이 시작됩니다. 찬성 측 첫 주자, 어떻게 실마리를 풀어갈까요?
Now, we are deeply disturbed by the recent trend into identifying the genes responsible for homosexuality because the inquiry implies, at best, that only people with similar genetic similarities can only love each other. And we believe that at worst, we see these eugenics on the horizon where homosexuality is a condition to be recognized as something being corrected. And we believe that this is wrong. Our proposal today is very simple. We will make it a criminal offense to engage in or endorse in any research in identifying the genes responsible for homosexuality. This is no longer just a scientific issue. It is undoubtedly a political issue. Certainly also a moral and an ethical issue. And hopefully it would one day become an historical issue. And we bring this issue to you, ladies and gentlemen, to argue the simple truth that everyone has a right to love, whoever and whomever they are. Our principle today is very simple. We emphasize equality and equality between different sexes, let it be straight people, let it be gay, lesbian, or whatever sexuality there is in the society. And by focusing on biological components of sexuality, we further exclude transgender people, for they have made a definite choice to change their gender. It would imply somehow that their choice to be whom they want to be is less valid because they have no genetic justification to do so. Defend your case, sir.
It empowers gay rights movement because it proves that it is not their fault, but rather they're born that way, and that is exactly what these gay rights movements are using as a reason.
We don't think that's necessarily true, but rather giving the impact that we are trying to research on something that may be indefinite itself is giving a more harmful impact on what that side is trying to argue today. Madam Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that equality is a very important value that we should respect, not even in the aspects where gender cannot be simply divided into binary concepts of men and women, but can be extended into further aspects of being gay, lesbian, transgender, intersexual, and whatever sexual identity there exists in the society. So if you really believe in the sexual identity, that a variety of sexual identity, and if you really believe for equal perspectives to be shown in society, then you side with side proposition. Thank you.
찬성 측 첫 번째 주자는 유전자 연구가 인간의 성적 평등을 침해한다는 주장을 펼쳤는데요.
Thank you, Prime Minister. All right. The next speaker is leader of the opposition. Would you come to the podium, please?
반대 측은 어떻게 나올까요?
Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed any further with the opposition's case, I would like to first say that the case is all based on assumptions. Why is this? Because without experimentation, ladies and gentlemen, we do not know what consequences it will have. We do not know anything about the phenomenon. That is why we say their entire case is built upon assumptions, ladies and gentlemen. That is why their argument cannot win this debate in the first place. So let's first examine the rampant homophobic narrative. The basis of homophobia and religious radicals is that gays are not born as gays, but instead there are people who choose to have unnatural same-sex relationships because they're somehow evil and sinful. They also argue that because homosexuality is a socially constructed choice, gays should not be around children because they influence others to be gay as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, if the gay gene research succeeds, these misconceptions will be destroyed. So if you're born with the gene that makes you gay, it explicitly proves that homosexuality is not a choice, and therefore it cannot be your fault to be gay. So, despite the fact that we don't particularly think that gayness is a sin, it demolishes the accusation that gay people influences other people to be gay. So it effectively undermines the grounds for homophobes to demonize gay people. That is why we say that our side is the one who supports gay rights movements. No, thank you.
그런데 토론자가 갑자기 사라졌습니다. 아, 원고가 떨어진 거였군요. 당황했겠는데요.
Second argument, apart from my initial analysis that it provides evidence for the born this way argument, this is actually systematically and constructively beneficial for gay rights movement. So how will this work out in practice? So we think that it creates a more political capital for the government to aggressively enforce anti-discrimination laws for the gay rights movement. So firstly, there will be further protection from discrimination such as hate speech. And secondly, grounds for affirmative action in case of institutional discrimination will be available. And thirdly, the qualification for refugee status to other countries in case of oppression will also be granted. And thirdly, we say that this is the political Third is the political pressurization of oppressive states. So we think that the right to conduct this reality is critically important for especially two types of people. So let's talk about the first type. What is the vast majority of the researchers who conduct these researches on gay genes are gay people themselves, ladies and gentlemen. These people do this because they want to find themselves, fully explore their sexual orientation, and understand where they originated from. So blocking this research is unfair and damaging for these researchers. So that is why the opposition side is very proud to oppose this motion. Thank you.
세은 학생 표정에 아쉬움이 묻어납니다.
Thank you.
아무래도 원고를 떨어뜨린 게 마음에 걸린 모양이네요.
Deputy Prime Minister to the podium.
찬성 측 두 번째 주자가 나옵니다.
We will be explaining how exactly continuous research leads to tangible harms to the sexual minority. So we're going to present this argument on two levels of analysis, when there is a gay gene and when there is not, unlike what the opposition team today did. First of all, when there is an existence of a gay gene. Now, the bulk of this analysis has already been done in our first argument. Finding the gene will only amplify the harms. It will be considered a license to be gay, and this finding will further exclude other sexual minorities from the equality movement. But there's more. Once the gene has been found, homophobic movements will actually endorse and finance research for corrective treatments. Already, we see this nonsense of spiritual and psychoanalytic treatments for homosexuals. We believe that this situation is only going to be exacerbated by the surge of clinical treatments in the same vein. Furthermore, genetic identification of fetuses would lead to massive genocide where fetuses with the gay gene will be systematically aborted. This is eugenics. True, perhaps the discovery of the gene may lead to beneficial medical research, but such benefits are predicated upon a tolerant community, which we believe does not exist in our status quo. And as we have explained thus far, the inquiry in itself and the result of the gay gene hinders the equality movement such that the stage of tolerance cannot be achieved. But secondly, in the instance when there is an absence of a gay gene, in its absence, we say that the lack of a gay gene will provide justification for the religious right and its allies to disqualify sexual minorities from being a protected class. Currently, in the more progressive states with anti-discrimination laws, it is illegal to discriminate people based upon their sexual orientation. This had wide implications ranging from the provision of services to employment. However, once it is proven that there is no gay gene, they will cite the lack of a biological basis as a reason to disqualify them from being protected under anti-discrimination laws. So we believe that either way, the very act of pursuing this research will undermine the equality movement, and the result gained at the end will be wielded by undispelled bigotry to produce even more discrimination. So to put it simply, we're saying, let's not open the Pandora's box. This is a box where action of opening in itself causes uncontrolled harms to our society. So we believe that because we realize that it is not okay for a certain minority to be harmed, we are proud. So a certain minority to be harmed by the rest of the society, we are proud to propose. Thank you.
동성애 유전자가 발견되면 낙태 위험성도 커진다는 주장을 펼쳤습니다.
Well, I'd like to invite Deputy Leader.
토론의 열기가 더해갑니다. 다음 주제는 어떤 반박을 들고 나올까요? 가운데 앉은 경은 학생 순서입니다. 한 손에 원고를 한 움큼 들고 웃음까지 지어 보이며 느긋하게 나오는데요. 그런데 토론을 시작할 생각은 안 하고 뜻만 들이고 있네요. 지켜보는 사람이 더 애가 탑니다. 이제 시작하나요? 아니네요. 아이고, 간 떨어집니다.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fundamental fact that the opposition, that the government side has neglected in today's debate is the fact that this research into identifying genes responsible for homosexuality is also an extension of gay rights movement, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's move on to the real rebuttal to the substantial case provided by the government party about how they mentioned about massive abortion, how this will lead to massive abortion. Now we have two responses. First of all, well then find gay gene and ban abortion at the same time. And the second response, just like how doctors are prohibited to inform parents of the gender of their babies due to their fear of gendercide, just obligate doctors to not give parents the information regarding their child's sexual orientation, ladies and gentlemen. This happened in many jurisdictions, and it was pretty successful. Now the problem right now is that the members of mainstream religions, such as Catholics or Muslims, are somehow forced to hate gays because their holy text says that homosexuality is an evil sin, and this is one of the fundamental reasons why gays are being discriminated under the current society. And even if you do not personally hate gays, a religious person would be inevitably against gays to stay consistent with that religion. We say that this is a basic problem that our societal perception is oppressing the gays at the current status quo. But however, if it is proven that gays are who they are for natural causes, it will create a new perspective that gays must also be loved in churches, ladies and gentlemen, and which is a solution that the opposition sides have been providing you from our first speaker. Now, with all that in mind, we beg you to oppose. Thank you.
토론이 이렇게 어렵습니다.
Thank you, Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Now I'd like to open the podium to Government Whip.
May I begin? No one should have a license to prove that he is homosexual. We have a right to love whoever and whomever we are. We see that buying into the religious bigotry of the current status quo is actually a very dangerous stance of the opposition side. We see that they're under the premise that gay genes has a high possibility to exist, but we see that in the case that gay genes don't exist, and the research result has shown that they haven't provided how they're going to cope with the social ramifications of those kind of situations. Therefore, that is exactly the reason why we are considering this as a Pandora box that is too dangerous to open. Opposition is under the premise that we need a license to be gay. We need a validity by our genetics to get gay marriage and legal services and government services. However, we see that this kind of idea is buying into the religious bigotry. The opposition is predicated on a very tolerant community, saying that, if gay genes exist, then all of the tolerant society will just accept it and move on. However, this is not the case. We see that current Korean society and a lot of countries are in a very intolerant community. And we see that power is extremely skewed toward the heterosexual population. We see that in the civil rights movement of the United States. We have seen that we have never questioned that being African American or being Asian American, their race was never a question of proving the validity of their genetic determinants. But we say even if it is genetically proved that they are Asian American and they're African American, they didn't have any respect, nor it took a lot of years to get rights. And not only that, by saying that you need validity to prove that you should have rights, we're actually saying that transgenders should have no kind of rights because it was their choice to change their gender. Therefore, this kind of inquiry is not only harming the society, also the gay people and also the public as well. So if you stand for real equality, you sit with proposition. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Government Whip. Now I'd like to call upon Opposition Whip to the podium, please.
이번 주전은 결승전의 청일점이네요. 지난해 중학생 부문에서 준우승을 차지한 실력자이기도 합니다.
The government side had to prove to us why getting to know more or having research, starting to know more about these genes leads to discrimination, or in that process leads towards treatment of gays, because we believe that is what's happening in the status quo, and we believe that is the worst case scenario. But if we get to find those genes, then we get to have much more positive effects to those gay rights movements and justify those gay rights movements. We believe that's a unique benefit that is possible on our side. Just because you're uncertain, you're actually not going to continue with the research. We believe that really lacks justification from the government side in today's debate. I want to ask the government side, are they afraid that they are going to find the gay genes? Because we believe that as long as we continue with the research, we believe that even if we do not find, we believe that the worst case scenario is the status quo. But whether if we find those gay genes, it will lead to additional benefits, empowering those gay rights movement, and that is the very benefit that we really want to talk about in our side. So, but moving on to the second clash about the positive or whether it benefits or harms those gay rights movements. Yes.
How does research actually directly link to eradicating the societal perspective they have towards gay people?
Because first of all, if they find the gay gene, it changes the perception. It empowers the reason for these gay rights movements over those kind of conservative religious groups that says that it is their innate characteristics, not socially or their choice of becoming gay. That is why it is not their guilt, but they're just born that way. That is why it empowers these gay rights movement. And at the same time, even if we don't find it, we believe that it will be the level of discrimination will be same in the status quo. That is why we have additional benefits in the opposition side. We told you how it will actually empower and have a positive effect to these gay rights movement. Why is that? Because the very two reasons that these conservative religious groups that uses to condemn these gay people is number one, that they chose to become gay, or rather number two, it is society that affected those people to become gay. By tackling those two reasons, by saying that it is their innate characteristics that made them to become homosexuals, we believe that it will break down those reasons that actually justify condemning or actually criminalizing those homosexuals. We believe that actually will have an upper hand to those gay rights movement. That's what we are very proud to oppose. Thank you.
결과를 알 수 없다는 이유로 연구를 중단해야 한다는 찬성 측 주장이 옳지 않다고 주장했네요. 이제 양팀 대표들의 마무리 총평만 남았습니다.
And they accused us for basing our arguments on assumptions that it would directly lead to success of finding these genes. We are telling you that these assumptions are not based on nothing. They are based on the possibility that these genes might exist. And if the benefits benefits that will be caused by the success of this research does exist, then we should pursue this for the higher benefit of society. They asked us if finding the gay genes actually contribute to equality and help the LGBT movement. However, firstly about the point of equality, we say that finding out that these people are actually inherently gay will actually benefit them in the aspect of reality. Why is this? Because different genes prove that these gay people are not gay by choice, ladies and gentlemen. And why is it beneficial for their case? This is because that they are actually admitting to the fact that they are no different from different races. They're not no different from different genders. Firstly, we say that it can allow the religious society accept these people more. And we say that this is the most important because the religious conceptions are the most difficult to break. If it proves that gays are not gay because of their own personal choice, but because of their innate conditions, then it would create a new perspective in in the religion that gays also must be loved in church because they are born innately with these genes. That is why we say it will first break down the boundaries of the religious people. So that is why we're very proud to oppose this motion.
Today we've considered all three possible case scenarios. First, when there is not a gene, it will be harmful because it gives other religious organizations the justification to mistreat gay people. Second of all, even if there will be a gene, still it basically gives them the image that they need to have a license to prove their identity, that they have a different sexual orientation. The third point is that if we simply do not know, it's still a harm. So at the end, we believe that the government scenario ran the whole three case possibilities that could possibly happen, but simply they did not. And well, they actually really gave us a really simple even if argument in the third speaker, I think, saying that, well, somehow the religious organizations will be tolerant towards these gay people, but it simply is not true because of two reasons. First of all, it's not really easy to change the perspectives of people in the society, especially because it is a religious organization with strict religious convictions. It is even harder. Second of all, they think that they can actually change the religious organization's perspective, but even if so they can change, they did not necessarily give a logical link to why this research starting suddenly makes these people change and more tolerant towards these homosexual people. And we believe that rather misunderstanding their stance itself created more harms. And ladies and gentlemen, if you really believe in true equality encompassing all sexual orientations in society, you stand beside proposition. Thank you.
All right, it is wonderful debating. Well, debaters, would you stand up and cross the floor and shake your hands, please?
드디어 토론이 모두 끝났습니다. 심판들이 매긴 점수가 차곡차곡 모입니다. 과연 어느 팀이 이겼을까요? 가장 숨막히는 순간이죠.
Of the 6th Youth English Debating Championship is 8-1 decision. Winter is coming. Winter is coming.
윈터 이즈 커밍 팀 정말 축하합니다. 두 팀 선수들 소감 한번 들어봐야죠.
저희가 준비한 그 케이스나 주장 같은 게 굉장히 잘 돼 있어서 되게 약간 할 때 좀 자신감 있었어요.
POI 쓰는 것 자체가 타이밍이나 아니면 몇 명이 같이 일어서나 이런 게 다 전략이에요, 디베이트에서.
이제 말하는 애도 갑자기 자기가 말하다가 양쪽에서 막 많이 일어나 버리면 내가 뭐 잘못했나 이렇게 기도 죽일 수 있어서.
직전에 했던 인터뷰 기억나요? 시작하기 전에? 어떻게 할래요? 전략.
그냥
시간이 부족한데.
침착하게 안 떨고 기 안 죽고 학원대로. 근데 저는 그냥 할 수 있는 만큼만 하고 오는 게 목표였고요. 최선을 다해서 잘한 것 같아서 후회는 없는 것 같아요.
지금도 되게 얼떨떨해요. 그래서 앞으로 바뀌고 이거는 운동하도 하는 거고.
경호 친구 처음에 두 번째 단상에 이제 올라왔을 때 준비를 했거든요. 정적이
제가 원래 막 종이를 다 찢어서 막 준비하고 있거든요. 그래서 시작하기 전에 순서를 이제 알아야 되니까 항상 이제 그 단상 위에 순서대로 종이를 옮겨놓지 않았는데 항상 그래요. 항상 오래 걸려요.
항상.
잠을 못 자요. 너무 긴장돼가지고 다리가 막 후덜거리고 그래서 계속 약 먹고 막
재밌더라고요. 짜릿함, 선의 경쟁,
자신감이라고 생각합니다.
제도약을 위한 원동력이 될 수 있기 때문에
뭐 학교에서 가르쳐주지 않는 거, 책에서 배울 수 없는 거 많아요.
상대방이 말하는 것을 통해서 저희가 배울 수 있는 것도 상당히 많기 때문에
어렵지만 정말 새로운 시도였던 것 같아요.
English Debating Championship 화이팅! 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 무비 not photo. 비디오.